Advancing Kingdom Lifestyle.
Yes, welcome to Man Unveiled. This is our show, and I want to welcome everyone watching us tonight. It's a wonderful time, even as we look at the issues that affect men. We are here to model the kind of a man that God created. We are restoring this man into his original place in God. And this is our joy, coming to you every Wednesday, 8 to 9 p.m. I want you to kindly write to another man. Let another man know something good is happening here on Elevate TV. We are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube, and write on your TV screens. Kindly write to us, let us know where you are watching us from. Write any questions, any concern, any suggestions. We are here to receive all that because we want to make this show your show. We want it to be driven by what you feel and what you'd want to see. Suggest to us some of the guests that you'd want us to invite here on Elevate. I know you have met men who really address the issues of men with passion. And we are here because we care about men. We say that we must be our brother's keeper. We don't want to be ignorant. We don't want to be responsible. We are here because we are our brother's keeper. And tonight, we have a very wonderful, wonderful topic. We are looking at men and mental health. Men and mental health. That sounds familiar because in one way or the other, every man is going through a battle. And one of the areas that the battle hits is the mind. They say that the mind is the battlefield. They say that battles are not won in the rings. Battles are won on the rings, in the rings. And we are here to expose the battlefield, the mind of a man and what goes on in the mind. I have a panel of great men. They have been here before. And it's always my pleasure to host you gentlemen.
Thank you.
I want to give you an opportunity to say hi to us and welcome the viewer right from this studio. Welcome, Pastor Wamae.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. What a joy to see you. My name is Pastor William Wamae from Redeemed Gospel Church, Gatundu. And we are glad to have you welcome you in our show as we talk about men issues. We welcome you. We want to ask you to go to our Elevate TV, and we are live, and we want you to like and comment the show and give us a thumbs up as we go on with the show. We welcome you. We want to say hi to my wife and my son Judah, my son Japheth. My daughter is in school. We also want to say hi to our church in Gatundu, Liberty Center, Redeemed Gospel Church. We welcome you. And all our friends watching across, my dad and mom, my siblings, we welcome all of you. God bless you.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. It's good to remember your family.
Yes, sir.
As you keep saying, this is a family show.
Yes.
And our children are watching.
Yes.
My wife, Pastor Linus Joe, Victor Joe, Sophie, and Sonia. I know you are watching. Thank you for your support as we keep watching.
Yes.
Sir Gabriel.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you for having me here. I appreciate to coming once again here. So my name is Gabriel Mungai from Bold Possibilities. I am a life coach and also an author of personal development books. I'm very excited to be here with you tonight. I would request you to stay tuned. Make sure you share with every man that you can. And I would like to say hi to my family and all those of my friends who are watching. I think it's a good session to engage the man, because if we fix the man, we have fixed the society.
Wow. I couldn't put it better than you've done. If we fix the man, we have fixed the society.
Yes.
Now, Pastor Wamae, and there's the gentleman called Tebejoy. Tebe Joy told me that he's your friend. Many days.
Yes. Tebi, I hope you're watching.
Yeah. There's a program we are doing together called Personal Branding.
Oh, praise
So he said Pastor Wamae is a long time friend.
Wow.
Yeah, and many of you who are watching, kindly continue engaging us and writing to us. We want to engage to this. And Pastor Wamae,
Yes.
what is this topic, men and mental health? From where you sit,
Yeah.
how does it affect the man?
Yeah.
Do men really have mental issues?
Yeah. Men have mental issues. And it's not just men, everyone. I mean, most people have a lot of complications. People are beaten by life, by many things. The pressure is growing every day, even as we advance in life. But the men, being at the helm, being the head of the homes, being the people answerable, you realize society has a heavy burden on men. So when the pressure becomes too much, the mind becomes overwhelmed. And so there's need to think about how do we help the mind to remain safe, to remain healthy, so that the man can function. Everything flows from the mind. Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you can't, you are right. So it's the mind. It's really the way the mind is. And so you can imagine today a man with the current challenges that we have. A man, there are some men out there who have pressure. They have pressure for rent. They have pressure for school fees. There's pressure for, businesses are collapsing.
Loans here and there.
Loans, left, right, center. You have pressures in marriage, pressures with the children. The society is pressuring you. Paka makanga na kuweka pressure. So automatically when the mind is pressed too much, there's a tendency that it becomes too much. There are many people who are not sleeping because the issues are just too much, trying to think of how to figure out a solution. Sometimes when you go to ask another man to help you, when they share their problems, you realize yours are not even as big. So kind of like you are left wondering, where do I run to?
Wow, that's true, I agree.
Yes, so automatically it's becoming a big issue nowadays, especially. But we are here because there is a God in heaven and there are solutions in life.
Have men accepted that mental health issues are real and are normal? Are men now coming out in your own assessment as compared to the days there before?
Yeah, I think there's a release of information. In where I come from in Gatundu, we have a clinic where I'm part of. In that clinic, and it's called St. Veronica. Dr. Esther is the one who is in charge of it. We just go there. We give advisory as the pastoral people. But as pastors, we realize we are creating awareness even in the society and letting people know you don't have to die with issues. There are certain things when you begin to see them in life, you realize there's need for help. And so I think awareness is being created. Even the government is putting effort in creating awareness. So I think people are beginning to realize that there's need to seek help. Yeah, but there are still men out there who are bound by, like the show we had last time on toxic masculinity, and even today it's still part of our show, who still believe as a man you cannot seek help. You look weak, you look like a failure, and you're not willing to confront. But we want to tell the men out there, people are going through issues and they're handling them because there is help out there, and there is a God in heaven who can sort your issue. You don't have to take a rope or you don't have to commit suicide. You don't have to do extreme things. There is help for you. Yes, sir.
Wow, great. No, it's the things we are addressing here are real issues. And I know there is someone watching us right now. You are going through high waters. You feel overwhelmed. You feel like there's no hope for you. I want you to know that those issues are coming to you because you are alive. And you will overcome because you are not dead. It says that a living dog is better than a dead lion.
Come on now.
As long as you are alive, you can overcome. Yes. A dead man is not thinking about investment. A dead man is not thinking about loans. The battles you are fighting is because you are alive. And life is so precious that you have not paid anything to have it. So you cannot terminate it. is an opportunity to do things right. If you are going through whatever you are going through, possibly because of a mistake you made, you can forgive yourself. The worst mistake is the lack to learn from that mistake. Sir Gabriel.
Yes, sir.
What are these issues that men are going through? And I know you are an advocate. I have seen you in many platforms, in Muranga, everywhere. You have been everywhere in general, and nowhere in particular. You are everywhere talking about men issues.
Yes.
What are some of the challenges,
Yes.
and especially related to mental health issues that men are fighting?
There's a whole list of challenges that men are going through nowadays. And some of them can be identified clinically, but some of them we can discuss them generally. One of the statistics that we have as we speak now, out of every 100 suicides, 71 account for men only. 71%. So that tells you out of every 10 people who are dying in the world, out of suicide, 7 are men. So you can see the level of damage to the mind, the mental space of a man. It has been really affected. Out of every 5 people, you will have 3 to 4 being women, but it is going to be the man who dies in the end. So it shows you that the toll on the mental wellness of a man is heavier than that of a woman. Yes. And also, if you look at the stress level, we have more men now that are stressed than women. We have more men that are depressed. If you look at our prisons, if you look at our the wards, mental wellness wards, like Madare, you'll find 8 men out of every 10 people you find. So you'll find we have more men affected by mental health than women.
Even in our estates.
Even in the estates,
In our towns.
you find
more
madmen.
more madmen.
than women. Sorry to say that. Yeah, even people who are sleeping along the road, you still find more men.
Yeah.
So men are going through really tough times. Some of them you find people who don't even sleep. They are suffering from insomnia. They cannot sleep. People who are not able to express themselves well. These are issues that are mental. When someone cannot be able to communicate their position, articulate what they are going through, these are mental issues. You find some men who are very anxious, very fearful. Maybe mtu akona alone.
Yes.
They are going through a very difficult time, and they can't even sit properly in a seat where they are.
Yeah.
These are issues that men are going through. And it's a wide range of issues.
Wow.
Yes. And especially, even this group of retiring men, they have it even harder than the younger men. The retiring men are suffering abandonment. Some of them are left home wanawachiwa ng'ombe. And there's nobody at home. Maybe the wife left is staying with their children. And these are issues that are really straining men left, right, and center. Yes.
Wow, this is powerful, and I like the way this conversation is flowing. I know you are watching us. I can see Anthony, Kamau, thank you for watching. Nesh, thank you. You can also send your greetings. I'll mention the people you want to say hi. You become a close friend now. Pastor Wamae.
Yes, sir.
When we talk about these mental issues, and we are saying here that we want to address real issues, are there some of the issues we are trying to address here? Are there some self-inflicting conditions or illnesses, like we grew up knowing is the responsibility of a man to pay house rent, and now the man's business is not doing well, and he's still sticking to the law, yet the wife is earning, but because he is the man, and you can never sleep in a house where the woman is paying rent. It's a taboo. Actually, they even coin and say, mwanaume nyumba hulipi rent wachana nayo. And yet is your very own house. You know, you have rented. Are there some things that are coming to us as a result of where we are coming from? Are there excessive, taboos that we grew up with that are really affecting the man? Even the way we think, the way we see things.
Yes, they are there. The way the boy grew, he knew he grew, and it's okay to grow like that, knowing that you are in charge.
Yes.
And that you actually are the person, the buck stops with you. However, you know, times are changing, and life has realities. Like, just like you have said, there are times that you find things are not, I mean, the equation is not working. You're not able to pay your bills. You find things are just tough, and you know, you find yourself there caught up. But I really believe that we need to be real with ourselves, and we need to face situations as they are, and, you know, seek help. Because like maybe it looks shameful for a man, it looked shameful for a man to tell the wife to help them.
Oh, yes.
But times have changed. Yeah, today we have many wives earning more than their husbands.
Yes.
Yeah.
Women are empowered.
Women are empowered.
The setup has also changed.
Yes. So a lot of things are different today than they were then. Actually, when I was getting married, I was in a very bad state, and my wife was the one who was earning.
I can feel you, sir.
Yes. My wife is the one who was working.
Yes.
So she gave me a lot of support, but things are not the same today.
Yes.
Yeah, and it didn't make me less of a man because she helped me. Even when I was going for dowry, and my in-law should not hear this, she still supported me. Yeah. And I did not become less of a man. Yeah, because she's the one who had the resources more than me. But things are not the same today. So I think the way life is, we need to really learn. We are together. We are fellows in a ship. If we sink together. So if you can help me rise up, tomorrow I'll help you rise up. This is the way it should work. So, but now we are coming from a culture where the wives used to be left at home and the men would go and work. So all the resources were with the men. But things are different. There are some men who their wives do not have their PIN. And there are many of them.
Yes, of
I'm wondering about us here. But, but I think we need to be in that safe space. Of course, I know the setups are different. There are people who may probably feel more vulnerable. But it's also good to figure out, in a scenario where I'm not there, what would happen. Because if you die with that pain, somebody else may enjoy your resources. And the people who are your beloved may end up suffering.
That's true.
So sometimes some of these decisions we make, which we have borrowed from our fathers and our forefathers, may not work today. They may bring us into bigger messes because we do not. There are many people who would not want their wives to touch their phones because they have seen things.
It's a no-go zone.
It's a no-go zone.
Yes. Don't try that at home.
Don't try. Your favorite statement. Don't try that at home. Yeah, but we should not self-inflict.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, we should have nothing to fear, have nothing to lose, and have nothing to hide.
Wow.
That should be our policy. Have nothing to fear, have nothing to lose, and have nothing to hide.
Wow, wow, wow. This conversation is good, and I know people from Gatundu are watching. We need to come to Gatundu for a men conference.
Yes, we should.
Gatundu, we are coming.
Amen.
We are coming for a men conference.
Karibu sana.
Yes, and we will speak to the men. Real issues.
Yes.
You know, when we talk about some of the things we are buying from our past, some of them are good, some of them are not helpful because times have changed.
Yes.
And as I keep saying here, we need to redefine the man. We need to redefine manhood. Because what used to define the man then, there are so many things that have changed. Yes. There are so many dynamics.
Yes.
We defined the man when the woman was not working. Right now she's working. We defined the man when the women were not educated. Today they are educated.
Yes.
We defined a man when the man was the alpha and omega of everything that was happening at home.
Yes.
A man could walk in a compound, and especially in our African culture, with a herd of goats and cattle, and admire a girl, and that is marriage. Today, don't try that at home. Utafungwa maisha.
Kabisa.
You see?
Yeah.
We are living in days where there's human rights and all these things. Women rights are there.
Children rights.
Children rights.
Yes.
Coach Gabriel.
Yes, sir.
Now, when we talk of extreme masculinity,
Yes.
and some of these conditions that affect the well-being of a man mentally. Are there some that possibly you can share with us? Because
Yes.
I know you have talked to many men.
Yes.
Some of them are, you know, are medical.
Yes.
Others are just
Conditioning,
Yes.
thinking,
Yes.
patterns that we have received from the past. As Pastor Wamae was explaining,
Yes.
we need to see the contexts and the difference. Earlier on, the man was empowered. He was the Alpha and Omega, as you said. But now, over time, the woman has also been empowered.
Yes.
And it has been now tilted such that we are equal in terms of empowerment. We are equal in terms of opportunity. And then man used to lay on his brothers, his father, and the men who are around them. But now man is no longer with his father, his brothers, and all those men that used to surround him. Now the man is alone with his wife in a certain town, maybe called Nairobi, living in a certain estate. She's the only person he has on his side. So unless now the man adjusts to now having the wife as his immediate companion, as immediate support, then he has no one to fall back to except the wife. So we must understand that the context have changed.
Yes.
Now the problem is that the contexts have changed, but the mind of the man, the pattern that was given to the man, has not changed. So he still has those traditional beliefs carried into the modern context. So he believes that he has to provide
Yes.
even when he is not earning. So most men are killing themselves because they are unable to provide. While if they only shared with their wife that they have lost the capacity to provide for a period, because no one lacks a job for a lifetime.
Yes,
It's periodical, and life goes up and down for everyone, both for the wife and for the husband. So it is all about sharing and then explaining yourself in a way that you could be understood and helped. So some of these things we have carried forward, like words like man up.
Yes.
So these are an extreme, because there is the level where you can man up, but there's a level where you actually need help.
That's true.
Even in the traditional setup, there's a level where you would have to ask help from other men. So it is not everything that you have to man up for. Yes,
That's a good point.
There's a level where you have to seek help from maybe your companion or even from experts. When you feel like, for example, you are super depressed, you have to seek help. You don't man up to depression. There's no manning up to stress. When you feel you are overly strained, you can pay the bills of the house. There's nothing to man up about that. It is to immediately find someone who can help, who you can talk to, and try and share out life. Another common masculinity word is fight back. So sometimes you are in a situation where maybe you find yourself like, in terms of work, maybe you've lost work. You've been pushed in a situation where you are so cornered. There's a level where you don't fight back. You let things flow instead of fighting back. Where you find that maybe someone has passed on as a man. Men are not used to crying, to mourning. So you're trying to fight back maybe a death of someone who was very important to you. You are fighting back tears. You are fighting back. You don't need to fight some of those things. You have to allow yourself to be emotional, to experience things as they are. If maybe it's someone who has passed on, if someone is sick and you feel down, it's okay. It's perfectly okay to feel down at certain moments in life. Otherwise, if you behave like a stone, you told me if you behave like El Shaddai, you shall also die. You shall also die. So you can't be everything. There is a time for you to grieve like every other person. Stop. It is not weakness, because sometimes you are told if you cry you are weak. Those are taboos from the past, but they're actually not true. Because if you don't deal with pain, what it happens is that you freeze it.
Accumulate, yes.
You only freeze it. And when you least expect it is when it will take you down. So you deal with pain as it comes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you are in a situation that needs grieving, take a moment and grieve.
Yeah.
If someone has passed on and everyone is mourning, if tears have to come down, let them come down.
Yeah.
Yes. If you are in a place where people are having fun, stop being too manly. Enjoy, even with your children. Sometimes there are men who are so tied up.
Yes.
So tied up. When they go home, they just sit on their big seat and they can't laugh with the kids.
Yes. Actually, they are holding the remote and they are
The remote control or the newspaper.
or the newspaper and can't, when the child come near them, no, they don't even need to talk.
Yes.
Just a look and that child disappears unceremoniously.
Yes. So I'm asking men now, maybe showing emotion has not been there in the past. But now in the day where we live in, you have to interact with your children emotionally.
Wow.
When they are crying, you have to be there with them. When they are enjoying, you have to laugh with them.
Yeah.
You have to be real. These angle of behaving like a stone should start dying because times are really changing. And those men who are behaving like the stone are the ones who are committing suicide.
Yeah.
They are the ones who are suffering depression. They are going through very difficult situations simply because they are not letting themselves live life as it is. I know there's a lot that we may have adopted from our forefathers, but I think it is time we rethink them.
Yes.
We recheck and then contextualize where our life is and how life is happening to us and how we should operate now.
Wow.
Not as we operated in the past.
We are not our ancestors.
Yes.
We are not. Don't behave like your grandfather. You are not your grandfather.
And there's very little you can do about your past.
Yes.
But there's very much you can do about your future. Yeah. So take the bull by its horn and make the changes that help you thrive as a man. Yeah. There's no point in dying in depression, as Pastor Wamae is saying, or committing suicide because of small things. Where you need help, be quick to seek help.
Wow. This is Man Unveiled, and we continue sharing our this conversation, our background, the battles we are fighting, some of the things, some of the challenges we are going through as men. And we have heard you, and that is why we are here. We are here to address real issues. One of the things that that I've also identified out there, and especially that the topic, today's topic, cuts across all cultures. There is a way people from Western behave. This is the way a Luo man behaves. This is the way a Luya man behaves. This is how a Kalenjin man, actually a Kalenjin man doesn't behave like this. A Kikuyu man doesn't behave. You know, some of those things, you have to see them. Look at what is helping you. If something is not helping you, stop carrying the baggage.
Yes. Come on now.
Stop carrying the baggage of your past. You will die and people will bury you. No. Leave them talking about you and what you did not do and what you are not able to do. But as a man, you know your family needs you. Actually, when you die, they will not come and help your family. They will say that he died like a fool. It's about your life. You must do what you must do. Sometimes, as Coach Gabriel is saying, manning up is not equivalent to dying out of depression. You must not die in depression. You can share, you can come out, you can handle what you can. You can freely share with your spouse some of the battles you are fighting. It's not a sign of weakness to tell your wife that you have no job, that you took a loan and you are not able to pay. You know, there is a man in the Bible, and I guess that man died of depression. He was serving the servant of God Elisha in 2 Kings. And after he died, the wife comes to the servant of God and says that you are my husband, your servant is dead, and he had some loans, and we are not able to pay the loans. Yes. So the creditors are here to take my children. Yes. You see, why did that man have to die? No. The wife didn't know about even those laws, probably. So let us be open as we share. Some of the things men are fighting is because they have not shared with their wives. And that keeps placing you and putting you down. So it's important that we continue speaking out these things, and I know as we continue sharing these things, the burden will be lighter.
And it is good to make this point, sir.
We are coming to that point.
Okay.
I want us to go for a break. But again, I'll be acknowledging some of the people who are watching us online. I can see George Kemani, thank you, sir. John K. Bogwa, Jane Gare, thank you. Watching all the way from UK. We are coming back to sample some of your comments. See you in a moment.
There's no nation, no town, no city without fathers.
Being a Holy Spirit driven church is New Testament.
The quality of the message, it was based in Acts chapter 2.
And I took my Bible and I went from street to street. Is anybody dead here?
We never met those miracles a reason to appeal for money or to be known. No.
Tracing the Mantles is a program whose core is to identify mantle carriers from our fathers.
That Catholic woman stood and he was sliding everywhere. He said, oh yes, now this is the black Catholic woman.
But these are not only mantles, but spiritual authorities that have paid the cost, stood the test of time,
You are given 6 hours to leave the country.
and made lots of sacrifices for the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Many of us invested in the school, college, university ministry.
But these are not only mantles, but spiritual authorities.
One of the things that bring revival in this country is the power of the Holy Spirit, the presence of the Holy Spirit.
Catch Tracing the Mantles every Sunday from 8:30, hosted by Pastor Zunda Juma, only on Elevate TV.
Yes, welcome back to Man Unveiled. We are here looking at men and mental health. These are a very important topic for all of us. I know if you don't have a man in your life, you have workmates, you have possibly your brothers and sisters, your brothers, your cousins. You must have a man around you. And in one way or the other, he is being affected, or he has a mental health issue. Sometimes it might not be so much outspoken, you may not know, but keep checking on them. We said, on Man Unveiled, we are our brother's keeper. We want to restore the man back to his original place in God. You remember back at the garden, God used to visit Adam at the cool of the day. They used to have a conversation. Do you have meaningful relationships? Do you have people you can share with? Do you have people that are dependable? Do you have relationships that that you can freely share what is disturbing you without feeling exposed? That is why we have this show right here for you, Man Unveiled. Continue writing to us. Even as I acknowledge some of the people watching us, I acknowledge Kreya Chege on YouTube, Karibu, Gatundu, Pastor Wamae. This Kreya, you must know this person.
Yeah, she's a member.
Wow, Edith Shepherd, following from Gong. Say hi to my brother, Pastor Wamae. Evans Mwagi, Great Wisdom. Gabriel, thank you, sir. Kreya Chege, watching from Gatundu. And Victor Joe is watching. My son is watching.
Wow.
Thank you, Victor Joe. Keep watching. I want you to become a man, a responsible man. Kate Duarte, tuned from UK, Uko Kimbo, or Ruiro Kimbo. Thank you for tuning. Yetao M, good to see Pastor Wamae. And I acknowledge all of us who are watching us. Kreya, Mudhoni Nyoro, thank you for watching. We also have other people here who are following us on Facebook. It is good. It's good to do justice. It's good to acknowledge that you are there together with us. Nesh, thank you. Nesh, bado hujatuma salamu zako. I'm waiting. George Kimani, keenly following masculinity words. Noma sana. Loving the conversation, Linus Joe. Anthony Kamau, thank you, my brother, for your encouragement and support. Now, I know we are looking at different aspects. I want us to look at a different thing now called disorders. We have tried to analyze some of the conditions, some of the mind positioning from our past, from battles we have fought, the way we have grown up, past experiences. Now we want to know, what about the disorders? Might we be blaming people who are suffering from certain disorders? Coach Gabriel.
Yes, sir.
You can go first. What are these disorders that some of us are? You know, you might be blaming someone.
Yes.
And possibly something that...
And that's what actually is happening.
Yes.
You see, when we talk about extreme masculinity,
yes,
or toxic masculinity, it has a level where it is about how someone thinks, but then there is another level where it is now a disorder. It is not a choice that this person is behaving in a certain way. So when we talk about masculinity, let me define so that I can be able to differentiate. Toxic masculinity is all about behaviors that a man thinks they ought to have for them to be a proper man.
Yes. What we have just discussed.
Yes, what we have just discussed. But when it comes to a disorder, is a compulsive behavior. It is not something he's thinking to do.
Yes.
Sometimes he's not actually even in control of it. Yes. And when we say a personality is a combination of the characteristics of someone. But when we talk about a personality disorder, is characteristics that are outside of the normal. What we expect. What
some extremes.
Some extreme, how people behave. So we have a number of disorders. In general, we have 10 disorders, but they are categorized in three main categories, three main clusters. The first cluster is the one we call of odd behaviors, odd or eccentric behaviors. So someone does something that is out of the ordinary. They tell you, I don't relate with women. So you wonder, how is that even possible? Is he living on Earth or in another planet of his own? So we have some men who are doing some things that are totally odd. Now, this is beyond what we call as regular, what is measurable. That could be a personality issue. Then we have the second cluster where we say they behave either erratically or dramatically. Now, let me give an example for the first one, before I go to the second one. For the odd ones, we have people who are very paranoid. They have paranoia. Like they suspect you. For example, we have met. I'm suspecting you want to steal from me. I'm very cautious with my pocket, but we just met. So that is kind of odd. It is not a common behavior. The second one I've said, they are either dramatic or erratic. So their behavior is almost unpredictable. Yes. And this is where we find the narcissists. Their behavior is not, they want to be praised for things they haven't done. Yes, they want to be grand, they want to be big than they really are. You understand? Sometimes they make a mistake and they don't take the blame. They say it is not me who did that. So they put or they project whatever they are feeling from within. Maybe you are sitting with them and he will ask you, why are you angry? And then you are, I'm not angry, but he says you are very angry. I don't like how you are looking at me. Then you are left wondering, what is wrong? Am I okay in my mind? So these ones have such erratic behavior. This is the second category. Then the third category is the people who we say they are anxious or fearful. So in this group, you find the group we call obsessed. So they are obsessed with some things. they are obsessed and compulsive on some things. So you'll find men who fear to invest, men who fear to marry, men who fear everything, like literally everything. So when you see these men with these situations, sometimes it's not that they have toxic masculinity. They are actually going through a mental health condition. And we need to now understand these mental health conditions so that we are able to relate with them wisely and also be able to relate in a way that we will either save them from destroying themselves or at least helping them to regain themselves.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. I like the aspect, especially when you talk about, you know, if there are words that have been abused, it's narcissism.
Yes.
Because every man who doesn't look like he's up to the task at home, he is narcissistic.
It's called narcissistic. And maybe we can differentiate that at this moment. Because it is not right to call someone a narcissist or to associate a personality disorder to anyone unless they have gone to the doctor and have been confirmed. You see, sometimes we throw words carelessly without knowing the background of someone. Actually, if you understand narcissism, every one of us is narcissistic. It's just that the level of the person we call narcissist is extreme, is a bit unreasonable. Is unreasonable. But each and every one of us has a narcissistic trait.
It's self-belief.
It's self-belief.
It's not something abnormal.
And sometimes the person with confidence, they are called to be proud. Someone who is very confident, someone who is firm, sometimes they are called to be a dictator. Someone who is authoritative.
Someone who is not ready to lose a conversation or a debate. Yes. Says that you are a narcissist.
You are a narcissist.
You know, people will call you a narcissist, people will call you toxic.
Yes.
Just because you have stood your ground. And I think that's what we want to speak to those who are watching us. Stop branding your husband or your wife a narcissist just because he stands his ground.
Their position, yes.
Sometimes if he becomes weak, again you call him a weakling. Or there's another word that people are using, simping.
A simp. Sissy man.
Sissy man, yes. So, yes. So where are we as men? If we become easy, we are branded a simp.
A simp or a sissy man.
If we become firm,
and
that is why we need to draw a balance.
Yes.
Pastor Wamae.
Yes, sir.
What do you think about these disorders? And have you met people possibly who are suffering from these disorders? And how do we go about it?
Yes, I have met. Before I get into that, I love the way Gabriel has presented it. So profound. I look at the scriptures. Being a pastor, my reference will always be the Bible.
No problem.
I look at the scriptures and I see a guy called Absalom. Absalom could be probably in the second, maybe other categories if it's, but the guy is the son of David. And you know, something happens, one of his stepbrothers sleeps with Absalom's sister. Actually rapes her. And when Absalom discovers that, he just plots and kills his brother. Now that was
the gentleman.
Yes. Now that was an extreme. It was not necessary.
It was Amnon, eh?
Yes. It was not necessary. There could have been a discussion, maybe a punishment or something. But that was an extreme. But the story doesn't end there. I mean, that's why I believe it's a good case. It doesn't end there. I mean, he continues, you know, and you know, plots because his father was very angry, he decides to run away, you know. But when he's allowed back, he begins to plot how to dethrone the father and deceives people at the gate against the father who actually called for him back. So you are wondering, why would he want to do that to the father? And the father had no issues with what had happened, he had overcome it. And he actually succeeds in turning the whole nation against his dad.
Turning the hearts of the people towards himself and away from the father.
Yes, until his dad actually runs away. But even when his father is away, he still continues plotting how to kill the father. How do you explain that? I mean, it's really an extreme case. Now, the problem with these mental conditions is that they end up to the end of it is self-destruction.
Yes.
Because you see, eventually, Absalom ended up dying. And his father wept. Because just like Abner, he died like a fool.
Like a fool, yes.
It was completely unnecessary. He shouldn't have died. But even when the palace was left to him, when you look at the discussions he had with his committee of eminent persons, you realize like he didn't have rest. He did not enjoy, yet he had everything to his disposal. So I want to encourage the men that you need to find help. And it doesn't help you in any way to really go that extreme. There is help for anyone with that disorder.
Yes.
I think when you realize, like, I want to call people to allow reason to prevail.
Wow.
Allow reason to prevail. Talk about, like, in the case, like we just had our discussion here, like even in a setup, like in a family. You know, a wife has nowhere else to go. I mean, men were created for women were created for the men, not the men for the women. That's what the Bible says. For the women, it's the Bible that says so, not Pastor Wamae. And so, even if your wife left you, she will only land in another man's hands. She's not wired to stay that way.
Yes.
And so, when she's offering you help, she has nowhere else to go. It's good to receive the help. But it's also good that you receive the help and feel safe within yourself without necessarily feeling insecure and going to those extremes. A narcissist would cause pain. Anytime, any opportunity that arises, they would be happy to see people, like they've caused you pain. And there are people who are, on that, they are doing that day and night, and it's not helping them. I mean, let reason prevail. That is what I would say. Wow. And seek help, because help is available to every man out there. If Absalom sought help, if he accepted the counsel of his father, he could not have died. He may not have ascended the throne. He didn't ascend anyway. But he could have lived a life that could have been admirable. But you look at his life, it was not admirable.
It was very miserable, actually.
It was miserable. And eventually he ended up dying.
Well, I think, and we appreciate your support. I can see Reverend Stanley Gure, Deliverance Church, Theta, Koroiro, God bless you. Faith Charles, Ruth Karanja, powerful conversation. Reverend Patrick, Joroge, RGC, Kenyatta Road. It's a blessing to have you on board as we continue breaking down this conversation. These, some of these conditions and some of these issues we are talking about, these are the battles that men are fighting on a daily basis.
Yes.
And you are saying sometimes if you don't know what you are suffering from, you'll project it, you lose your family. I've seen men losing their families.
Absolutely.
Because of not literally understanding what you are going through.
Yes.
And you say, don't be silent. If you realize that something is not okay in your life, look for a man you can share with. Look for a counselor. Go to your pastor, share with your pastor. And I actually have also a counsel to pastors. Not every case that you overcome with prayer alone. There are some people who are looking, it's very okay to pray. I believe in prayer.
Yes.
But there are also other people who are looking for a platform to share.
Yes.
There are people who are looking for a platform. There are other things that requires wisdom.
Yes.
There are other things that requires prayer. All right? Sometimes you apply both. You pray as you receive counsel. Because some of our wives, some of the women in the lives of these men can be very impatient. For example, a man has not been working for a long time, and this woman has been providing. And this man seeks counsel, and you tell him, let's continue praying. It's okay, but he also needs some ideas on what he needs to do.
Exactly.
On action.
On action oriented. Yes. As we continue believing God, actually, it is in that action that God blesses the work of your hands. So sometimes it's also good to be practical and spiritual.
Yes.
It's good to be intelligent and spiritual.
It is good to know that everything that is supernatural
yes.
has the natural part.
Oh, yes.
It has a supernatural part.
That is it.
So play the supernatural, but also apply the natural aspect of it. Yes.
Now, Gabriel.
Yes.
Because you're having this conversation, and I know we are just about to come to the end of this show. I want us to help people who are dealing with these men. How do you tell that a man has a disorder?
Yes.
A personality disorder or whichever condition. Which behaviors, which characteristics do you look for? Because some men will never, actually, many men don't speak out. Many men will never admit that they have a condition.
Yes.
They will keep defending themselves. They will keep projecting and gaslighting.
Yes.
It says you are the problem.
Yes.
Actually, they will tell the children you are the problem. Ndio mko na shida, mimi sina shida.
Yes, so there are many, there are quite many, but we can discuss the general ones. We can start from where you have said gaslighting.
Yes.
So if for example, someone has done something, and then not gaslighting, guilt tripping. If I have done something, then I tell it is you who did it. So I'm making you guilty of what I did. For example, I go out, I forget to buy groceries. But when I come home without the groceries, I tell you it is you who did not SMS me to buy groceries. But I left to go and buy groceries. So I'm turning the case around and blaming you. Sometimes it is what we call projection. Projection is when I'm actually the one suffering from something or going through something, then asking you like you are the one who has that problem. So for example, I have a headache. Asking you, you look like you have a headache. Why do you look like you are sick? And it's actually me who has that problem. I have seen a case of a man who blamed his wife of being sick, but it's actually he's the one who had cheated. He was trying to remove himself from the situation. So he was projecting such a situation. Sometimes you'll find cases where men are not able to sleep. So if you have someone who is unable, struggling to sleep, maybe they are behaving okay, but actually you can see signs that they are actually struggling with things like sleep. You can know he is unwell. There are other issues like what do we call this? Smear campaigns. So if someone mekosana, he finds a group of people and then turns the case against you. So you see, these are not ordinary things. These are someone who is going too far for something that is not necessary. Sometimes shifting blames. People who never take responsibility for anything. Anything that comes, every time there is a problem, he turns it around, either to you, to God, to anyone. So these are not normal. Don't consider this to be normal. Every normal person can be able to see when they have made a mess and maybe try to work things out. Some other situation is when someone is getting too angry too quick. And maybe they are not even able to control their anger. Their families wanasema mzee huwa anakasirika, akikasirika haongeleshwi, usipite laini yake. That might not be normal. It is good to understand when someone amekosewa and when it is not now, has now gone overboard. So the signs are many. But I think those ones cut across.
Pastor Wamae, even as we reflect on what other people should see in a man to identify or to determine whether he is having these conditions or not. Now, how do I know as a man that I'm a narcissist or I have this condition? How do I know as a man? What are the things that, sometimes we take time to self-reflect. And sometimes you can look at your life, because when we come to you live, we want you to take time to reflect in your life, because you can be a trouble, you can be a problem to your family and you don't know. You can be killing your family. You can be killing your wife just because of the things you are taking her through without your knowledge, thinking that it's just taking your possession. What are the things that I should look at my life and know that I'm suffering from some of these conditions?
I think one of them is really taking time to listen and being open to criticism. There are times that people will just tell you, and God will always send someone to really tell you there's a problem.
I like that.
You have to be open. One of the best people who will tell you what you need to hear and the way you need to hear it is your wife.
You know, your wife doesn't fear you.
She doesn't spare you. She will just tell you as it is and as she feels it.
Shooting straight.
Yes.
From the hip.
Yes.
Yes.
So if she's repeated something again and again and again, then you know there's a problem. Even your children.
Yes.
If you've created an environment, my children will tell me anything. If they think I'm wrong, they will tell me, and they'll tell me, Daddy, I think you know. So I think it's good to have that open mind where you can allow people to criticize you and just tell you things that probably may not be comfortable to hear. I once called a group of young people I was leading way back before I even got married, many years back. And I was leading a group of young people. I was teaching them how to sing and do worship in church. Not really part of the praise and worship. I was part of that, but in another group I had formed. And one time we had challenges in the team, and so I told them, this is what I want you to do. I want you to take a piece of paper and criticize me.
Wow.
And then fold it, don't write your name, just give it to me. So they did that, and then wakachanganya. So I would read. Some of them, the things they wrote there, they were very painful.
Oh yes, it's very hard to receive feedback.
Yes, they were very painful to hear, to read them. But, when I went back, I reflected and I thought they could have a point. They have a point.
Yeah.
And from that time, I started saying, I think I need to work on this area. Some of them I felt like maybe they are wrong, I need to mentor them more.
Yes.
Like that. But I think someone needs to really be, let me call it, man enough to accept challenges.
Yes.
The scripture says, guard your heart above all things.
Yes.
For out of it flows the issues of life. Now, that word heart is not the heart that pumps the blood. It's the subconscious mind.
Yes.
It's what the Bible is telling us. You need to guard it. Like many men really get depressed because you say something and your wife criticizes you. But the minute you learn, she's just expressing herself. None issues. You take it lightly and not probably get personal or get bitter or react, throw tantrums.
Sometimes you just want to be heard.
Yes. Just like what I think it's Gabriel who said, when people come for counsel, it's you who said. Sometimes people just want a shoulder to lean on.
Yes, a platform to express.
Just a platform. In my office, I've seen people come, and someone would speak for 2 hours, I've not said a word.
Yes.
And they cry in the midst of their talking, and I know healing is taking place. I've not said a word. I've just given them that listening ear, and I'm identifying with their pain, and healing is taking place. And I want to challenge the men. Don't die out there. Go out there and, share your issues, identify, I'm having a problem and I need help. And look for someone you can share. You can have courage enough to share. And as you do that, you're going to find healing. There's nothing too big.
They say that feedback is the breakfast for champions. Show me a champion. I'll show you a man who is able to deal with feedback positively. Is there a feedback that you are given by someone and you felt like you don't know me? You might be defensive. It's good to reflect. If 1-2 people tells you the same thing about you, it's very, most probably there are areas that are hidden about you. There's something you call Johari window, and I would want you to go and Google it. You can Google Johari window. It has 4 areas. One of the areas is open. There are things that everybody knows about you. You know about it, everybody knows about it. There's another one called closed. Closed are things that nobody knows, but you know about. There are things that only you knows about. Nobody else knows. And unless you tell us, you'll never know about it. You'll never know it. There's another place called hidden. Hidden are things that other people know, but it's hidden from me. I don't know about, unless I receive feedback, I'll never know. Possibly I'm hot-tempered. I'll never know that I'm careless about the way I talk. Possibly I say I'm a talkative person, I'm a sanguine, and I will defend myself from all these manner of feedback. But when other people give me feedback, I'll be able to know this is the boundary. If I find people talking, I should not get into the conversation and assume that they are saying nothing. I should sit back and listen, then give my view. So feedback is very important. There's another one called unknown. Unknown means nobody knows about it, you too don't know about it. Leave that alone. It doesn't help. So what we are saying here is, it's good to be self-aware. It's good to be self-aware as a man. When you're self-aware, you are able to deal with who you are and your environment, the environment around you. Because you are not alone. You are living in the midst of a community.
Yes.
And these people need you. You need them. You don't want people to start avoiding you. Pastor Wamae, as we come to the end of this show, I want you to look at this camera and speak to a man who is fighting some of these disorders, or a man who is trying to battle the past and the way he was raised up. Let them know that there is hope and they can overcome if they have, if they are willing. If you are willing and obedient, then you shall eat the good of the land.
The psalmist said, "My soul, why are you cast down, and why are you disquieted within me? Put your hope in God." I want to encourage a man out there. You could be having challenges, a burden of issues. You don't even know how to come out. Let me tell you, there is hope. You could have failed in the past. There is hope. John Maxwell wrote a book called Failing Forward. Even though you fell, you can still pick your pieces and move on. There is hope. As Apostle Joe said, as long as you are alive, there is hope. I want to tell the men out there, don't die. Don't allow yourself to go to those extremes. There is hope for you, and your future is bright. There is a God in heaven, and He can make a way where there seems to be no way. So do not be overwhelmed by your challenges. Look for somebody you can share with, and there are solutions in this life. It's just that probably they are not exposed to you. But if the Bible says, seek and you shall find. If you seek, you will find. And there is help out there for you. I mean, you have help surrounding you. Don't die alone. Don't die. Rise up, pick up your pieces, because the psalmist promised, if you put your hope in God, He is able to lift you up. May the Lord bless you.
Wow, thank you, sir. They say that the only problem that has no solutions is the only problem that has not manifested.
Yes.
Gabriel,
yes,
come
a problem shared is a problem half solved. So first of all, by just finding someone as a man who you can talk to, be it your wife, be it your friend, be it your pastor, someone who can listen to you and just offload the weight that you are carrying mentally, is going to solve half of your problems. So first thing, find someone you can talk to. The second thing I want to share is that there's nothing new under the sun. Solomon wrote, so even that which you think is too big, I can promise you it is not new. It is just new to you because it has come to you at this time. But many thousands and thousands of men have already gone through it and have already found a solution. So the solutions are out there. The last and the most important thing I want to share with you is that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So the thoughts that you entertain, that starts with the inputs, the things that you listen to, the politics, the football. Every thought that you entertain is part of your mental wellness. So it is good to be very careful with your diet. What you put in will eventually come out, and it will eventually affect your mental health. So make sure that you are consuming the good, the healthy, the inspiring, and the growing material, like this show, and your mind is going to be well.
Where can we find you?
You can find me, my office is along Thika Road, and you can also find me on Facebook. My page is Gabriel Mungai, and my contact is 0719-489-372. 0719-489-372. If you reach out, we are going to solve issues.
Pastor Wamae, you didn't tell us where you can find you.
Yes, you can find me on Facebook at William Nyoro, even Twitter. Yes, I'm there, even on Instagram. But you can also find me in my office at Redeemed Gospel Church in Gatundu town. We are just past the law courts, about 200 meters after the law courts on your right. My contacts are 0720-327-648. Once again, 0720-327-648. The Lord bless you.
Wow, I appreciate all of us, all those who joined us, Paul Gadhi, Blessed Joseph, Rachel Atum, Irene Chege, Nesh, Pastor Patrick, all of you who are watching us live, God bless you. Those on YouTube and those who are live on our TV, God bless you so much. I would want you to know that there is hope for a man who is alive. Never write off a man who is breathing. As long as you are breathing, you have a better tomorrow. God bless you so much. See you next Wednesday, same time, same place. Shalom and good night.